Anyway, I was saying the spreaders are new. I don't think they've even seen a season on the water. Compass is a bit cloudy. A little plastic polish would clean that up just fine, but it appears to be working. It's got fluid in it, so it looks like it works. Here's the Raymarine autopilot system. We've got a Smart Pilot Auto Helm series. Looks like a ST6002. There's one display, and then the other one is the Tridata ST60 Plus for the Auto Helm series, Raymarine. So nice instrumentation on the boat. Down below deck we have pretty nice power panels here, some Blue Sea Systems 120 volt, and then another Blue Sea Systems for the DC power distribution. Of course, back in the berth here, we got typical quarter berth stuff. Underneath the navigation desk, there's a bunch of bits and pieces that much of it I don't really know, where it would be used on this boat, but it's just general hardware, stuff that could be useful if something breaks. There's spares and things like that. Much of it, which looks like it's worth a considerable amount of cash, like that piece right there, can't be cheap. Anyway, don't know what it is because I've not sailed a boat this size before, and I certainly am not going to be sailing this one. Infinity stereo speakers for anyone who's interested. Trying to think if there's anything else of note on or in the boat. V-berth. There's a little solar vent from the inside. V-berth is a V-berth. In the bathroom cabinet, it's a mess right now because I've been tearing things up and cleaning things up and whatever. So, but it is what it is. The Atomic 4 gas engine. We bumped it over. We did get it to bump over with a brand new, just purchased 720 cold cranking amp starting battery, but we're not on the water, so we don't have any cooling water, so we did not try to actually start it, but it does turn over. And then I just slipped that hose back onto the seacock that it would go on. I did not put, you can see the hose clamps are there on top of the engine for that. But anyway, yeah, so the engine is promising. It turns, and it was running. We have evidence that it was running the last season it was on the water, because there was a service call for a belt. I think that's a new alternator. The guy had a receipt for in his files from 2021 maybe. I don't know. Anyway, there's evidence that this engine is running, although I cannot personally attest to that because I never heard it run. So there you have it. It is what it is. Full disclosure, the issues that have caused the previous owner to decide to sell lie within this compartment. Pardon the heaters everywhere. I've got heaters in here because it was freezing cold last night, and they were on sale for $5 a piece at Walmart, down from $12. So, and they were the only thing available in town because everyone else had clearanced their heaters out before, and sold all the big ones. All the 1,500 watt ones were gone. Anyway, brand new 1,100 gallon per hour bilge pump that works great, as we found out. She takes on a lot of water from above, and as a result, I mean, there's this water that's in it is after I ran the pump on manual, and it's what is this? Probably 2 inches deep to my knuckle there, almost 1.5 to 2 inches, and the bolts are heavily rusted. This is your compression post stub. I got in there with a chisel, and almost 2 inches of mush came off of the front before I hit what felt like fairly solid wood, but there's always so much water in the bilge that's probably not going to last long. In addition, when I was doing the chiseling, I was down there with a power tool, so I had all this cleaned out, and I wasn't wasn't running any electrical when there's water down here, obviously. And what I found is when I stuck my hand in here and leaned my weight onto the surface of the fiberglass, there are a few holes in this fiberglass from previous owners, maybe mounting, wire conduits. I don't know what they put in here, but there was evidence that there were a couple of small holes had been drilled for whatever purpose, and when I leaned on this fiberglass, water did come up out of the keel stub. So it's my belief that the keel stub is also bad. This boat I would not consider safe or seaworthy until this keel stub is properly repaired, possibly including full replacement of these keel bolts, since they are so heavily rusted above the keel stub. The chances are good that if the wood within the keel stub has been holding water for a decade or more, they may be rusted down to maybe a 1/4 inch thick or so below the surface of that stub. So that's why my opinion is this boat is not seaworthy. I would not sail this boat. I just wouldn't sail this boat. And of course, this is less of an issue, but of course you want your mast to be fully supported, especially if you're going to be sailing in any kind of heavy wind conditions. In addition to that, what we've got is a bulkhead here that's got water damage. Now, this in itself feels quite solid to me. It looks bad, it's a bit puffy, but it feels solid. There's not a lot of evidence that it's currently leaking. On this side, this bulkhead also has a lot of water staining from previous damage, and the actual chain plate does not appear to currently be leaking. However, if it was just the bulkheads, I'd say send it. But it's not just the bulkheads, it's the bulkheads and the compression post and the keel all together that have told me that this is not a boat for a first-time sailor who is too far away to manage the project. Now, additionally, we've got water leakage. This is an actual drip of water right here that you can see. So there's water. It rained this morning. Then we got water coming in there. There's evidence of water leaking coming in from somewhere behind this piece of teak, and then it finds its way to the end and it drains out here. This area right here leaks severely from this window, this corner of the window up in the top, as well as down the bottom, and then it drains and drips down to here, and then it just falls off into this little catch pan. This little catch pan over the course of the morning probably caught nearly a quart of water in about 3 hours. Then there are additional leaks that are throughout the boat that are not easily seen. You can see there's probably about a quart to a quart and a half of water on the kitchen floor, galley floor. I get yelled at by my sailing friends all the time for not using the proper terminology. And here we've got water dripping off of whatever this is. This is some kind of a panel. I don't know if this was put there intentionally to hide water damage or something. And then underneath, you can see all of the water clinging to the bottom of the cockpit, and not clinging so well, I might add. It's dripping, and it's like it's raining in here. That is where a pedestal had been mounted in previous years by a previous owner, and the pedestal was removed, and they did not get the top side sealed up. So when there's water in the cockpit, it gets into the cockpit floor, there's a piece of wood in here, and that wood is saturated as well. So the cockpit floor probably will also need attention. Too big of a job for the previous owner. It's a wet boat. If it's your style and you're in the Bay City, Michigan area, and it's not too much of a drive for you to spend your summer evenings and weekends out working on this boat, she's available. Deck felt good. The deck felt pretty solid. I didn't feel anything on deck that would make me scared of taking the boat out. Everything felt... one more thing. I did find I did not see this when we looked at the boat originally, but last night, I gotta show you this. It's the first time I had time to actually spend in the V-berth. I spent the night. And here in the V-berth, I saw this unusual contour. I don't know if you can see it. I can't really catch it on the video, but there's an unusual contour here, and this pushes in, it flexes. And it's not supposed to do that. It's as if this has some kind of pressure on it that's causing this to bow out, and then it flexes in and out really easy. The other side is not like that, so I know it's not by design that it's that way. Here's the other side over here. Let me get some light on this if I can. Oh, this light is not working. I mean, it's working, but it's so dim. Anyway, this side's nice and smooth, has a normal contour like I would expect, and no bulging that I can pop in and out on it like that. So I don't know if something happened on this side of the boat, but it caused me to investigate further. And I got to the hanging locker, and I opened the hanging locker, and this had stuff in it before the boat was purchased, so I was not able to see the hanging locker floor. The hanging locker floor looks like it was also compressed this way, and it has a big hump in it that's cracked, almost like the side of the boat maybe was pushed in at one point. I don't know what that's about, but that's also something that led me to believe that there's just so much going on with this boat and its structure that I just, I told the previous owner to consider abandoning ship, and I think that's the course. So good luck if you become the new owner of this boat.